When I was a kid growing up, one of my favorite shows to watch was Little Bill. I always loved the aesthetic and charm, the characters, and the plots for each episode. It's one of those shows that I could just sit down and watch without feeling some sort of annoyance. But now we move ahead to a show that is genuinely despised by most people. Ladybird Lu. What more can I say about this cartoon that other YouTubers couldn't have said better? This is one of, if not, the most annoying, ear-bleeding waste of animation, sorry excuse of a preschool show I have ever seen. And this is someone that's seen Little Brown Bear and Thomas Daly live multiple times. What adds the cherry on top to my hatred of this show is due to the excessive amounts of crying done in each episode, specifically done by Ladybird Lu.
Yeah, it was traumatic. It really was.
I'm not saying it's uncommon for toddlers to cry, but it's really unnecessary to have a toddler crying over a vacation she wasn't invited to.
Because this trip is just for Elodie's family.
No!
I know multiple YouTubers that have covered these shows on their own, but something I haven't seen anyone cover was how Ladybird Lu ripped off Little Bill's most infamous episode, When Friends Get Mad, with their episode, Counting Spaghetti. Both episodes show the main character's painting getting accidentally ruined by their friend, with the main character then trying to ruin their painting in return. While both episodes are not well received, one of them at least does the resolution right, while the other completely fails.
I don't care. I'm not sorry.
So today, I'm going to be comparing both episodes to one another to see which is automatically worse. Before we dive right in, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and let's see if we can reach 15,000 subscribers before the end of November. Without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. Everyone is painting pictures for Miss Murray, with Fuchsia's being about her dad's store. Her friends fail to guess what Fuchsia's painting's about, which makes no sense since they've been to his store several times in the past. Kiku has drawn a flower, which if you ask me, looks more like someone smeared paint on the paper out of spite. Meanwhile, Littlebill is doing his interpretation of the park, which I don't ever recall parks being located on the beach. But you do you, I guess.
All the leaves are springing out.
Boy, I don't see no leaves anywhere in this drawing. Unless you sprayed those leaves with invisible spray, something shady is definitely going on here.
That's not funny.
Miss Murray tells Little Bill his painting is so impressive that it deserves its spot on the spring bulletin board, which according to a kindergartner in the 2000s, was at the equivalent of winning the lottery. All that excitement, though, drops faster than my ad revenue when Kiku gets a bit too close and spills paint all over his masterpiece.
Kiku! Look what you did!
Just like his painting, Little Bill's dreams instantly tear apart and he breaks down in tears, which would initially make him sympathetic if it wasn't for what he did next. Kiku apologizes for ruining his shot at fame. Instead of accepting her apology and trying to make things right, he chooses to get even by crumbling up her painting. And this decision right here turns him into an instant villain.
Now yours is messed up too.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
The whole class now hates him, and Miss Murray separates him to time out before Fuchsia can paint her cousin's face red and blue. Little Bill fails to realize how all of this was caused inadvertently and refuses to apologize. Stubbornness at its peak.
I don't care. I'm not sorry.
Little Bill returns home, where he unloads the burdens and shattered dreams to his brother, who clearly has more important things to focus on, like telling jokes that make dad jokes sound like premium comedy gold.
What time is it when the elephant sits on your fence? Time to get a new fence!
He then sulks over to his parents and declares he's hunkering down like a peanut-sized dingo instead of facing the problems he created like a man. They instantly slap some sense into his brain and let him know on what an accident is. They let him know that what Kiku did was a complete accident, which Little Bill failed to grasp the concept on for the last 8 minutes of this episode. Little Bill finally realizes he's the one who's being the scumbag and decides he's going to apologize and make things right, which is something he could have done at the start of the episode. Then again, if that were to happen, this entire episode wouldn't have existed, and I wouldn't be sitting here on my bed recording this video. He arrives at school the next day and finally apologizes to her in person. He promises to never react like that ever again, which, okay, Little Bill. So after rewatching this episode, I can understand why most people weren't so welcoming to it. Little Bill was so out of character for not forgiving his friend over a mistake and then tearing up her painting for revenge. But now let's see how Ladybird Lu ends up handling it. Ladybird Lu is being taken to shell school. all while she expresses her everlasting love to her inanimate toy dinosaur, because nothing screams healthy childhood like emotionally depending on a lump of plastic.
I love you too, Lou.
That's not a dinosaur impression. That sounds more like Santa during a hangover. Lou is then picked up by her teacher, Shella, who decided to waste her one precious shell by turning it into a school. Seriously? Why would you do that to yourself? Wait, if you're able to shrink yourself into the shell, then how do you, let alone your students, get out of it? I guess we're just gonna have to trust cartoon logic for this one. Everyone's in the mood to paint. Well, I'm in the mood to slam a huge black square over my screen to make it all stop.
I'm going to draw a toilet.
Go! You disgust me! Go!
I haven't seen much of this show, but I already have a disliking to this Declan kid, who states to be a ground blue beetle, which I don't know if the people behind the show ever study etymology. I didn't say that right, but who cares? But that looks more like a fat-sized blueberry than any ground blue beetle. But I guess you can also say the same to the other children, who look absolutely nothing compared to real insects. Lou is painting the same toy dinosaur from earlier, because unlike real people, inanimate objects are the only things that can stand to deal with Lou and her ear-bleeding tantrums. Barnaby is choosing to paint Bill Clifford. I never knew he liked Gravity Falls, but at least he's drawing something that has actual life and a personality. Barnaby is so caught up on finishing his masterpiece that he accidentally gets some paint on Lou's paper, and she ends up reacting like it's the end of the world. Barnaby ends up making things worse by smearing the paint in, and Lou decides to get even by ruining his painting in return. Where have I seen this before? Unlike Kiku, Barnaby came prepared for the storm and shelters his painting from a screeching, destructive turd. He tells her to stop yelling at him. She says she isn't, while yelling at him.
Come here to me, you two. What's going on?
What do you mean what's going on? You were seen at the end of the table like a minute ago. Where has your mind been at? Lou twists the narrative of what happened by saying Barnaby had the ill intention of screwing up her painting, right before the two get into another fight.
Oh my goodness, you both sound very annoyed.
Wow, Sheila, it's almost as if nobody else was in the classroom to see that. Give her a round of applause, guys. Seriously though, where's the naughty stool when you need it? Elodie tells them to count spaghetti, which is so effective that it manages to get the whole class singing.
I don't like spaghetti. I like Brussels sprouts.
Does it matter? Why are you so concerned over a stupid word? Lou and Barnaby have calmed down and improvised on his mistake right before ending the episode with another stupid song, which I'm not playing due to copyright and just not wanting to spend another minute in this hellstorm. So now that I've talked about both episodes, let's see on which episode is worse, beginning with the Little Bill episode, When Friends Get Mad. Little Bill spent most of the episode holding a grudge on his friend for accidentally spilling paint on his picture. He chose to get even by ruining her picture in return, which not only made things worse than they were before, but also held his friendship with all his friends in jeopardy. He only managed to see things through Kiku's perspective when his parents gave him a slap of reality and saved his reputation and friendships. So, what Little Bill did at the beginning of the episode was worse than what Ladybird Lu was trying to do, but at least Miss Murray punished him for his actions and didn't take none of Little Bill's twisted narrative BS, and with the help from his parents, was able to make things right and restore their friendship. But now let's explain the Lu episode that not only copied this plot, but somehow made it worse and more inhumane. Lu spent the episode glazing her toy dinosaur by painting a picture of it. She chose to lose her everlasting mind on Barnaby over a simple mistake, and tried getting revenge on him by ruining his painting in return. Instead of punishing the two for their fighting, Shella chose to act like a therapist and explain to them on how annoyed they were. They were only able to calm down with Elena's help by counting spaghetti, which proves that arguments in this world can only resolve with the help of a third party. So there are multiple people I'd like to blame here, beginning with Barnaby. While he wasn't as bad as Lu, he inadvertently made things worse by smudging the paint into her drawing and acting like a complete idiot. Shella failed to act like a responsible teacher by not putting them to time out to calm down, but instead using meditation and spaghetti to get them settled. And like so many people have said in the past, makes you wonder why she was even hired to be a teacher in the first place. So after reviewing both episodes, I agree on Ladybird Lu's version being way worse. And it's not mainly due to this episode, but unlike this show, Little Bill barely acts like a whining little crybaby and actually respects the environment around him. Sure, he might occasionally do something bad, But it's rare, and at least he made amends with his friend and ended the episode on a good note. Ladybird Lu, on the other hand, never actually apologized for her behavior and failed to realize that Barnaby had no intent on ruining her painting. So like I said, Ladybird Lu takes the booby prize for this one. And like Matt Neff always says, F you, Ladybird Lu. Thanks for watching, everyone. And thanks for the recent overwhelming amount of support on my Betsy video. I do plan on continuing the series going forward, and I do have a lot of videos planned and more forgotten TV shows to be rediscovered. So keep the comments and support going. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Peace.